Welcome to Flyover Conservative Podcast with David and Stacy Whited, where we break down current events and examine culture through the lens of conservative Christian values.
Flyover family, you know our slogan is wake up, speak up, and show up. And regardless of what topic we're on, whether it's the border or elections or dealing with doctors, or anything, it's about moving the needle. Like who's actually making a difference. It's one thing in life to spot, hey, there's a problem here. There's a weed in the yard here. Who's a part of moving the needle to solve the problems? Who's getting rid of the fraud in the elections or the fraud in the government budgets? Who's actually doing something to make their life better? And then better yet, how can you engage with the information that we give on this show to improve the quality of your life, that you're waking up better, that you're speaking up better, you're showing up better, and physically feeling better is a huge goal. And we come across a lot of things, a lot of guests, a lot of inventions, a lot of ideas. We're always deep diving on something, even just to research a topic, before we bring it on. And so you see a lot of things, and something that's been one of the most hopeful, encouraging things we've come across in the last 5 years doing the show and over 3,000 interviews.
Yeah, it's a lot of interviews, a lot of conversations. I think, too, what I love about what we're getting ready to talk about is the response from our audience.
Yes.
The feedback, even doing interviews with people that have had success with this. I'm really looking forward to this.
It's great. And in the world, I'd say people's trust and faith in media is at all-time low. Yeah. And I think over the last 5 years, and for good reasons, their trust in the medical establishment is an all-time low. Some of the faith and trust you've placed on people, you're like, I think they're more interested in getting me on this so they can get me on this and get me on this and on an endless treadmill loop to never really getting great or getting off of anything. And so we see those things. It's like, it's kind of discouraging. When you find something, it's like, hey, maybe there's some technologies that you can go tinfoil hat and say maybe they've been kept from us, or you could say, maybe they've just kind of been on the side and our attention wasn't towards real health and real solutions. But for whatever reason, our focuses have changed, I think, as a country towards not masking symptoms, taking the light on the dashboard of your car and just knocking out the check engine light. And, well, I guess the engine's fine now.
It's okay.
Saying, hey, how can I actually get better? How can I actually live the way God created me to live? And that's what today's show is going to be all about. Today we have with us in charge of product development, and Kansas City has kind of become a little bit of the watch capital of the world. We got Garmin based right here, and we also have Wave Watch. And from Wave Watch, we got Mr. John Brammer here with us today.
Hey,
welcome.
In studio.
I am so glad to be here. It's wonderful to get to meet you guys in person. We've been interacting quite a bit, but here we are, and this is where the magic is made. I love it.
Yes.
We love it. And we had your mom here probably, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago or something, and absolutely loved having her in studio. So we are thankful that you're here today, too. We started out, before we knew you, before we knew your mom, before we knew much about the company, as customers of this product. And I remember the first day that Stacy came back. She went with one of our friends, Cindy Hill, and she was at the office and came back, and it was one early prototype. It was a Wave Watch that kind of the square, the original kind of.
Yep.
And I'm like, what is that? It's kind of interesting and this kind of stuff. And as much as I am, I love vitamins, and I'm much more that way. I don't take any. I have no prescriptions or anything. I'm kind of more this health way. I was still kind of like, it was just kind of something I wasn't super engaged in it until I did a little bit of research and kind of actually did some study myself. And I was kind of already in that train of thought. How did this come into your life and your family? Because I know your mom is the inventor.
Sure.
But when you first hear of it, you're like, well, how could that technology actually play a role in my life? So
kind of a funny story. My mother, Linda, yes, is the inventor. She's just an incredible woman with so many different things that led her to developing this unit. But what I can tell you is that she really got interested in frequencies, I would say about 2005, 2006. And I remember she brought this machine, and it was a frequency testing machine. And she brought it, and it basically was making an electrical connection, and it was measuring my body with frequencies.
Okay.
And so I'm like in my mid-20s, and she says, whoop, whoop. She's doing all these things. She said, John, whoop, you're allergic to camel hair. And I said, thank you. That is very good. I'm glad to know. Haven't been to Egypt recently.
Exactly. Not too concerned about the camel hair.
You won't be playing John the Baptist in the upcoming Christmas play or something?
That's right. And then she kept going. She said, hey, your liver's messed up. And I was like, I don't know why. And then I looked at this medication I was taking, and that same medication is outlawed in Europe because it trashes your liver.
What?
And I was on my second round of it, but I had no idea that was going on. But this machine, testing through frequencies, found that.
Wow.
And because my liver was messed up, I had a lot of allergy problems. Like some of these things, they start to stack almost. And so she, got me on this, kind of put me on some homeopathic solutions because of the frequency testing, and my allergies cleared up and my liver cleared up. And
you became a believer, I'm sure.
Yes.
At first, you're probably like, as she's going through your fingers, you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Camel hair. I'm never going to come across it
I don't care who's someone in your family. Like your parents still got less credibility. You're like, you kind of question. It's like, I don't know. You kind of question that.
I have two teenagers. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So that was my first introduction to it. And I said, okay, maybe there is something to this.
Yeah.
And that specificity and whatnot. And then, so Linda, she just kept developing. And then the idea said, well, if you can measure with frequencies, and if they're that specific to certain organs or certain aspects of the body, well, why can't we use frequencies to treat, to promote what's good and to try to get rid of what's bad? And, as everything else, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. And so, the frequency work that was done by Dr. Royal Raymond Rife and by Nikola Tesla and so many others. And so just taking some of that and realizing, okay, well, how do we keep moving forward? And so Linda, she just... I kind of feel like she would have been good at anything. She's good at anything she put her mind to. Like, I think like a detective or a private investigator, watch out. Because she did a deep dive on these things, and she just kept looking and like, well, what if we do this? What if we do this? And then so I remember seeing the first prototype of the watch, and then my brother and I, like sitting at the kitchen table, she had come to visit for Thanksgiving, and we're talking about names and all these things. And so we got to be sort of on the sidelines, and we got to be her cheerleaders, moving forward and encouraging her. And I always had a special feeling about it, but never really was an opportunity.
Because you were a photographer at the time, is that right?
That's right. Yeah, so I was a photographer for about 2 decades professionally.
Okay.
And then did a few other things, and my wife and I developed. We've done a lot of work together. We loved, and I love that you guys work together too.
Yeah.
We've been married 23 years, and
congratulations, that's awesome.
She's an incredible woman. We've done all sorts of things. We renovated a church from 1887.
Oh, wow!
We love we love renovating it and creating something new and whatnot. So we have quite a varied background, and then. Sometime about mid-2023, Mom called my brother, and she called me, and she said, "Boys, we're growing. I need your help." And I'm always a techie, like cutting edge, and I'm always looking, new stuff. And my brother had been a marketing professor for 10 years at a college, and so obviously he gravitated toward that, and I gravitated towards product development.
That's a perfect combination.
Yeah, so it's been good. But as you all know, in a small business, especially a family business, you wear a lot of hats, and so I keep putting on hats.
Yeah,
but it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Man, it's exciting. Tell us a little bit, because I've had great results with the Wave Watch. I've shared it on the show before, but I had gallbladder issues back to 2017. No, before that, it was actually 2014.
Yeah.
That's what it was. 2014 gallbladder issues. They had recommended I get my gallbladder removed. I did not do that, and I was doing everything I could to save the gallbladder. Took a lot of fat out of my diet. The gallbladder, actually, a lot of success there, but there was some side effects. Like I had some cognitive issues because of taking
too much fat out of her
out.
diet.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. For such a long period of time, kind of had to, get that back under control. But then the pain came back in November of 2025. Okay. And so the Wave Watch, I was wearing it one day, and I thought, I wonder if there's anything on here for gallbladder.
Okay.
And I was in quite a bit of pain, and I actually put it on, and within less than 15 minutes, the pain was gone, and it's never come back.
Yep. Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely remarkable.
That's wonderful.
And then sleep was obviously a big thing. And David, he doesn't go a night without this with his sleep.
Yeah. I've struggled with sleep since grade school as a kid, and just never been a deep sleeper and can function pretty high on low sleep, for a long time, but it kind of accumulates, on you. And again, don't want to do medications for it. And I would dabble with the melatonin or this and different things. And then when I began using the Wave Watch, for it, and then your mom actually suggested, even started earlier in the evening, like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and kind of begin this whole process. It's a night and day difference. And what I have is I have this Whoop device, and I got it for sleep because it has all these journaling effects, and you can be like, hey, what time did I eat last, and when did I do this? And so if I had maybe one cup of coffee, but it'd be early in the morning, no tea at lunch, no soda, everything I could do to build my day around sleeping well, and it was tracking with the Whoop. But one thing it tracks is a lot of different metrics in your sleep. Because you can say, like, well, I felt like I slept all night, but how do you feel? Your recovery, your HRV, and all these different metrics within it. All of those, I'd have like a flat line, low quality sleep the whole night, no spiking up and down, and all this. It changed the way my whole body would operate during the night through all of the cycles of the circadian rhythm throughout the night. So I was like, man, that is an amazing thing. But kind of like Stacy, I'm a little slow where. No offense, but I'm myself in the same boat. Where you can this is my thing. I use the Wave Watch for.
Sure.
And then we were just on a trip this last weekend. Another thing of being tired or traveling is I will get like a cold sore. It'll kind of pop up when I'm getting kind of broken down. And my daughter-in-law will have the same thing. And she goes, well, why don't you use the Wave Watch for it? Because she's avid Wave Watch person. I'm like, that's I kind of make it as my sleep watch.
Right. I see what you're saying.
And so I didn't, make that connection. I went through the settings, and there's a place on the website, and I had to go find it, and went there, and I mean, it never really manifested. You kind of feel it, a day or two, it kind of is burning and it hurts, and it just went away and never got to where it had historically. So it's just interesting how we can kind of be a little dull. And like, well, I never thought of using it for, these other things. But the list of stuff that it helps with is just endless.
And I do want to ask you, because on the Wave Watch, like when you go to sleep, it'll say like what time you're going to sleep, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. But I remember Linda telling me one time you can actually somehow get it to go to 9:30 or 10:30, but I don't know how to do that.
Oh, sure.
So I was going to ask you that, because I'm sure there's listeners that are feeling the same thing. And it's important. Why is it important that it is the right time? Like if it's 9, 9:30, 10, why is that so important?
That's a great question, and it gets pretty deep. I love that you mentioned circadian rhythm, and I'm glad that your sleep has improved. Mine greatly has from these nighttime frequencies as well, and I do track it with similar devices. But basically, God created us in such an incredible way, and we are meant to be recharged by sleep, and there are certain times of day, and this is something that Eastern medicine and Western medicine all agree on. And I mean, I don't mean to get too off track here, but ancient Indian Ayurvedic medicine, and then also Chinese medicine, if you find a graph of or the clock of where that wisdom is talking about which parts of your body are recharging, the Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, they line up almost perfectly. And it basically shows that there's certain times of day where you've got one called the triple burner, and you've got different things in your liver and your gallbladder and other things. And so basically by setting that correctly, then the way that the sleep frequencies were done was very specific. Now, you don't have to be down to the minute, but you can get it pretty close. And it's actually just meant to help your body to recharge correctly and to really encourage deep sleep and REM sleep as well. And so we partnered with some great friends of ours who are part of the Sleep Balance Academy, and went back and forth, and I had done a deep dive. But the favorite part of my job was in the summer of 2024, we were developing this new set. What happened was the original watch, the giant one, there were 1,000 selectable different frequencies. And I'm not here to say, bash any of the three-letter agencies, but basically one of the three-letter agencies came and said, hey, even though you're not claiming to cure anything here, these names are too specific. And so you're either going to have to change all of your marketing and change every device that's out there, or you're going to need to stop selling these and do something new. So we prayed about it. We came together as a family, and we started working and realizing, okay, well, here's the line. We can do this. And so that's why we have to say heart health support instead of saying heart.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
or what we have, Lyme wave. We can't claim to necessarily cure Lyme disease.
Right. Exactly.
But so we have these little euphemisms that satisfy a special three-letter agency.
Sure.
That Mr. RFK is helping to work. But anyway, so in doing so, what I had to do was take all those frequencies, and we had to put them into more FDA approved, I said it, type things, and in such a way that wasn't really claiming anything, but just supporting our bodies and really helping our bodies to heal themselves.
Yeah.
And I agree that the night frequencies, I'm glad they're working for you. And we're all made in the image of God, but our makeup is a little bit different, and some people seem to be more susceptible or more accepting even of frequencies than others. And so everybody's going to react a little bit differently, but we've seen some really great results from that.
Yep.
Now about the
so how do you do it? So because you go in, you go to select it. Yep.
Yeah. So you've got this screen.
Yep.
And then if you touch the bottom half, that's going to go to the play screen.
Okay.
And then while something's playing, all you do is you hold down.
Okay.
And when you hold it down, it's going to actually go to the 30-minute. And that'll get you a bit more specific.
All right. So Flyover family, on the watch, as you are on the different faces there, you can actually, let's say you go to sleep and it says 9 o'clock on the sleep. Let's just say that because that's typically the one that I choose for my sleep time. That's the time I go to sleep. When you get there, then you can hold the arrow on is that the right-hand side? The right-hand side, and then it will actually move over on your watch. That is so cool. It fast forwards to the 9:30. That is so cool.
There you go.
I tried hitting it once, and it would go to 10.
Yes.
Okay, so if you just hold it down, it will move across, or you could probably hold it the other way, and it goes, okay.
And when you're doing the sleep frequencies, you want it to be on play through, or you want it to be on play through, not on repeat, which is the 2 hours going to the right, not on repeat. And that way you go from 9 to 10, 10 to 11.
That makes sense.
Because like on the cold sore one, I just put it on repeat.
Yes, that's right.
And I just kind of let that just keep hammering the whole way drive back from Kentucky.
Okay, so I have to ask you, because I want to come back to sleep in just a second, but for people that maybe haven't seen the shows that we've done with your mom,
sure.
We're talking about frequencies, a watch that works with frequencies. How are these frequencies working in your watch? How can it help David with the cold sore, his sleep, my gallbladder? How does it help all of these different things, and how does frequencies actually work?
Magic.
Exactly.
No, so they're targeted, and so 80 years ago, this Dr. Royal Raymond Rife, he was is frequently considered, normally considered the father of frequency medicine. So he developed a microscope that was enviable even by today's standards. And obviously he's not looking at his microscope on a LCD screen. He's looking at it in real time. And then so he would get a cell and at a cellular level, and then he would play a frequency into that cell, and he was able to see bad cells bust apart.
Okay.
And so then he starts documenting these things at the exact frequency level, and then his research, some of it was thought to be destroyed, but like I said earlier, standing on his shoulders, and just taking some of the things that he had put together, and we've put it in a very usable, fun package, and that's very user friendly for everybody to work with, and I think that's really the genius of what Linda's doing is bringing it, and it's not about your ear hearing it,
right,
or anything. It's about these sounds playing into your body at a cellular level,
okay,
and that. Linda taught me that there are up to 70 sound receptors in each of our cells, and so these noises, these sounds go through your body, and they transfer from cell to cell, and it seeks out that one that's dialed in for.
Yep.
So
that is absolutely.
So there's
amazing.
a small speaker basically on the back of the watch,
which
and
I think yours is on. I'm hearing
it.
Here,
and I always go full blast, but there's videos we've seen, and we talked about things, in the past of, like a black sheet of metal and put sand on it, and then change the frequencies, and they make forms.
That's right.
And it's like, man, it's responding to the sound, and that's sand. We're mostly water, and fluid, this kind of thing. So it makes sense our bodies would respond. You can see a glass of water, you set it by a subwoofer, it's responding to the waves of sound. So we kind of intuitively, we see this in nature, we see it around, but the idea of then applying it towards something that you could control intentionally to create improvements in our health is fascinating.
Yes, and I love what you're talking about. I'm a very visual person. She mentioned I was a photographer for 2 decades, and so I had done some more research and was learning. There's been some, tons of different studies in different ways, but there was one study, and it was about blood. And then, I follow this this health influencer named Gary Brecka. He's just an incredible influencer, and he talks about, like, at the end of the day, it's oxygen in our blood. That's one of the biggest things that's really keeping us alive and giving us that vibrancy of life. And without that, it's hypoxia. And so, in learning from him about that, and read this article, and it was these folks. They had taken, they'd drawn blood, and they put there were two, like, vessels with the blood in it. One of them they put in a Faraday cage and kept it at a constant temperature. The other one, same temperature, and they played sound to this blood.
Okay.
Like, who thought of that?
Right.
I don't know. They start playing sound. And you remember, or you spoke about the way that the sand can move on the plate, and it shows a pattern. And it's just really fascinating stuff. Well, that blood changed color in a similar pattern as to what you're talking about. I will send you guys this article to put on here. And then what was happening was, as it was changing, that sound was actually helping oxygenate this blood, even though it's not even. So
wow. Yeah. Would different sounds make different things in the blood? Yes.
And so these folks, they weren't playing our frequencies into it. They were actually playing music. They were playing some classical music, some pop and heavy metal, and it showed actually some of those different things doing better or worse for the blood.
Wow.
It's mind blowing. And so this article, and so then I saw that, and then we even had an affiliate that one of our other partners, and she had her blood drawn, and sent me. I guess there's like a real time scope.
Okay.
And she had her blood was kind of sticky. It's called rouleau. It's a French word that means like a roll of coins.
Okay.
And so then she plays the Wave Watch on blood cleanse for 8 minutes. Gets more blood drawn. The blood is completely different. It's all moving more freely. It's not stacked up and sticky.
Wow.
And so just on blood alone, those are different things. And so we're working on doing even more studies. We've actually got 3 studies going on right now. One is for sleep. One is for pain, specifically back pain, and the other one's for emotions, which are just kind of calmness and whatnot. So it's been and because I think the thing is it's easy to say, oh well, I feel better or whatever, but when you read some of the testimonies, and then when you hear these amazing stories, but we also have to kind of be able to prove things very scientifically.
Absolutely.
Too. And that's got to be the backbone for everything we do.
No doubt about it. Okay, so let's go back to the sleep part. Thank you for explaining that, by the way, how that worked. But I want to talk a little bit about HRV, because David had actually mentioned that. And that was something where we all have a Whoop, and we actually have a family community where we can see each other sleep and our, how we recover.
We text in the morning like, oh, rough night, Avery.
Yeah, how's everybody doing? Yeah, we can actually tell. But one of the things that the kids had commented on was that my HRV was low.
Okay.
And so I have actually seen it go up, and I didn't know why until I heard you on an interview, and you talked about HRV. So can you explain to the audience what HRV is, and how the Wave Watch could possibly be helping with that?
Sure. I will do my best.
Okay.
I'm not a doctor.
Right, sure.
Not a doctor.
You don't even play one on TV.
I don't even play one on TV. That's right. So the way it has been explained to me, and the way I've come to understand it is HRV is it's kind of the new kid on the block as far as measurement. It's like the new one that people are talking about more.
Yeah.
But it's really our body's response to stress.
Okay.
And by being able to lower your stress, and then that's one component of it. Mm-hmm. But then also your HRV is going to improve the lower your stress is, and then the better that's managed, and then the better shape that we get in as well. Mm-hmm. And I've had some similar things that my HRV went up considerably when I started doing the sleep frequencies. But a lot of it is your stress response.
Okay.
That's what I've been. Now, like I said, not a doctor.
Right.
But it really is about lessening our stress,
which I think is an aging thing too, right? Like it'll say on there like your age or whatever based on this, your HRV, based on your HRV, this is where it looks like your age actually is, which is kind of interesting. So I remember I heard you say one time that you did it consistently over a 3-month period of time, and you were able to raise the HRV by like 15 points.
That's what I did.
Yeah, yes. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
You're not even taking notes. You just know this. Yes, about 15 points, and that was measured on my Garmin.
Yeah.
obviously that's a huge number.
That's a huge number.
Yes, but I was in the mid-20s, and I'm in the mid-40s now with the HRV.
That's amazing.
And I hope to keep going up.
Absolutely, for sure.
The sleep is important. That's why I put so much focus on it now, because as you age, that's when your body's healing. Mm-hmm. That's when you're repairing yourself and you're rebuilding, and you can get away with a lot of shenanigans and tomfoolery in your 20s. Right. Or whatever. You can break your leg and you sleep it off. Next day you're fine.
Right.
when you're 20 or in your teens. But then, as you get older, it's like, man, like old football injuries. Like, man, this thumb is not right. You have like stiffness and pain. Like, oh yeah, I remember I broke that when I was in high school. You kind of start paying the piper, and your healing process. So much that takes place when you're sleeping, and there's so many things going on. In the body that the Wave Watch helps with.
Yes, and I also, want to say there's no such thing as a magic bullet. And so you guys have already told me things, even under the current here in the conversation, but the way they're prioritizing sleep, and that's a consistent bedtime like you're talking about. Yep. And that's, maybe watching your screens, maybe not watching as many screens before bed, or making sure that whatever light you're exposed to closer to bedtime is maybe not blue at all, and a little bit warmer. And so I'm still learning and still trying to do even better on that myself. But I also was going to say that I wanted to mention, the Wave Watch has been very supportive of so many various amazing things in people's lives, but we also, in no way would I say, well, just because I can play a frequency that says metabolism doesn't mean I need to go clean out the Dunkin' Donuts.
Right, exactly.
And eat everything on the shelf. We've still got to be mindful of our health and, hydrated and being restful and even just taking care of ourselves in general. But we're happy to have something that's pretty unique and interesting that does some amazing things.
How about human growth hormone? I actually heard you say that when you were sleeping, that the frequency actually helps with human growth hormone as well.
2:08 a.m. That's when that one's in there. So I'm joking and I'm not, but no, HGH is one thing that we that is it is an 8-minute frequency that is put into the sleep 2 or 3 times during the night. But about 2:08 a.m. if you've got it right, you're getting some HGH.
Wow, that is wonderful. We've actually, many years ago, started hearing about human growth hormone and the significance of that. So to know that it's in the watch, it was like after you learn everything, you're like, I don't want to miss a night of wearing my watch, it's not even just for the sleep, it's all of the other benefits.
All the things it's doing while you're sleeping.
Maybe you're not even aware of.
Yes. I need to do a better job of journaling like you were talking about with the Whoop and other things. But what I'm hoping to do for myself, because, have to experiment on somebody, might as well be me, is do like a month on, a month off on the sleep and then look at those trends. Yeah. But it's been a fun thing to learn about sleep, because it's such a especially over time. It's kind of like over time, the more and the better consistent sleep you have, it's really going to be more telling in your life.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like our listeners to go to the website. We can show it, or they can even go to it and look at it. But wavewatch.com.
That's right.
WAV, wavewatch.com.
/flyover.
Yeah. You get
discount.
Discounts on these. Use promo code Flyover on there. Just /flyover. But go to the website and put in some things that you're struggling with or that are concerned for you. And you have a whole service in there built in to help people know what would work.
Frequency Finder. That's where they are right now.
Yeah.
And so Frequency Finder, and as it scrolled down, that's basically we harnessed an AI, and we fenced it in, and we fed it with kind of the recipe of what's going on in the watch, and so then the name of a common ailment, you can search that on there, and then it will tell you where to find it. And like I said, we kind of had to get creative in order to be to the letter of the law with the FDA. And this was kind of our workaround that helps people find things even when they might not know where they are necessarily.
Right.
Plus, your customer service is excellent, because your customer service, you're dealing with people that are Wave Watch users. A lot of the time, if somebody's a Wave Watch user, they'll fall in love with it, and then they'll actually become part of your customer service.
Oh, that's right. Yes, and many times, and that's been part of it. And we have very very much a U.S. based customer service team, and they're real people, and they're and I actually have to tell you a story on one of our amazing folks. Is this woman that I used to work with in a past job, and I had an early prototype, and she had migraines a lot. And here I had this brand new prototype of Mom's device. I'm like, hey, you want to try something?
Yeah.
And so I would show her how to use it. And the big one.
Yep.
And
the OG.
Yes, the OG. And she really got such great relief from migraines from it. And then when the opportunity arose, I called her up and I was like, hey, you remember that migraine tool that you still use? Why don't you come on board? And so she's been a fantastic addition to our team. And so it's neat how things come full circle many times.
Yeah. What are some of, let's talk about some conditions that you've seen that this has really helped with.
I'm not trying to sound selfish, but I'm going to talk about myself for a second.
Sure, that'd be great.
So last week I got bit by a seed tick, and I grew up in the Ozarks, and that's not uncommon. I very much remember those things, but nowadays they seem to be even worse. Alpha-gal and all those other things.
Yeah.
And so I got bit by the seed tick, and it swelled up red as a beet, and I played Lime Wave on that on repeat, and within a couple days that swelling and that color was gone, and then that spot was starting to go down. So trying to play that in a very preventative way, because that's very important. And Lyme disease is no joke, because it manifests itself in so many ways. So really on the prevention side.
And for talking to your mom, we go through that protocol every time we fly.
Oh, nice.
As soon as we get to the airport.
Said on flights, that is something you have to be very aware of. And so every single time that we get on a flight, David and I always put our watch on that.
Yes. And speaking of, and I need to check the back of my car and see if I have some 2.2s for you. So we have an updated device. It was an incremental update that we came out with in November of last year. And there's just a few more frequencies on there. Two things that are interesting. One is in honor of Dr. Casey Means, we were really inspired by her book, Good Energy. And so just also inspired by that, just like, hey,
big time.
Yeah. And so we created some different things that we added to the Wave Watch in that area. And one of them, we've got an evening rhythm, a morning rhythm. But about what you're speaking of, there's a jet set. And jet set is basically, it's a lot of things you want on a plane. There is EMF detox. Oh, wow. They are resourceful.
They are very
resourceful.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
It's got EMF detox. It's got virus protection or virus support. I can't say,
support.
Virus support. And then also some things to help us relax and rest. And if people are, say, antsy about a flight, those sort of things. But kind of along those same lines, we call that jet set.
Okay.
And then we have a few more things in there, morning rhythm and evening rhythm. Those are nice, it's not necessarily going to reset your circadian rhythm, because that's obviously a big thing that happens when you fly a lot.
Sure.
But it's something to help us to relax, or the morning rhythm is to kind of help wake up and help your body to wake up. And then we've got evening rhythm for, just kind of winding down a little bit. So those are kind of exciting.
That is really cool. That's awesome.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Walk through what are some of the big things maybe that people wouldn't expect that they could be listening to and like, oh man, I've, like pain-based things, maybe like arthritis or back pain or neck pain, or like you mentioned migraines with your friend.
Right. We were able to also add a specific arthritis support frequency to the new device as well, and we made it where it scrolls too. But the amount of pain testimonials has really gone through the roof, and especially the types. There are certain types of pain that aren't very well addressed by certain drugs, and so specifically nerve pain, and also neuropathy, that sort of thing. I'm not sure if Linda told the story, but one of our favorite stories was last April. We were at this conference, and so we decided to try something new, and we had all these samples of Wave watches. And so this woman came up, and she. Her sister kept nudging her up towards the booth, and the good news is that they found Linda first at the booth. This is last April, and so the woman said, she said, I've had neuropathy for about 3 years, and she had a real shake.
Yeah.
And I watched Linda, and I'd heard about neuropathy and the watch, but I had not seen it in person. Completely a different story.
I bet.
So she puts it on her left wrist, and she starts playing Wave Relief. And this woman, also named Linda, which was kind of, they really had a connection there. She, after about 2 minutes, she said she was feeling something, and it wasn't unpleasant, but it was just kind of feeling something in her pinky. And all of a sudden, about 3 minutes into it, she just does this. And remember, I said I was a photographer.
Yeah.
I'm looking at her face.
Right.
Because I'm looking for that reaction. And she just complete disbelief as she's rock steady with her hands. And it was just
completely stopped shaking.
Yeah. It was just like this. And all of us in the booth were like,
that's life-changing right there.
It was crazy. So it was one of the most interesting things. And to be able to see that in person was really special.
Yes.
So,
and some things take a long time maybe to work, but so many things are rapid that, at at live events, I know Linda told several stories of people that would just kind of like check it out and go wear one for a while and then come back because it's like, well, I don't know,
Yeah.
Or let their neighbor use it. The neighbor comes back and like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
A lot of people, even testimonies of like a wife wearing it and the husband getting a benefit because they were
holding it at night, snuggling at night.
Oh, that's Mom's favorite story to tell. But
I love that story where the husband didn't he have his feet were numb and it had been for like 15 years or some extended amount of time, and he was just snuggling with his wife at night, and she was wearing the watch, and his numbness went away.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, that is so cool.
You can't make that up.
No,
it's kind of crazy.
I love that.
I will say, from an emotional standpoint, I was going through something that was pretty rough emotionally, and I prayed about it and letting the Spirit guide, and things went really well, and I was able to, keep my cool and everything else, and then when everything was kind of, the dust had all settled, I went and I was just, washing my hands and thanking the Lord for a good resolution. And I looked down and I had put the watch on self-control on repeat.
Yep. That's a good one to put it on.
Wow.
That was a thank first to the Lord.
Yep.
But it was also just like self-control.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just need a little bit of self-control.
That is really good.
So, kind of funny.
That is really good. How about like autoimmune diseases, things like that?
We have a lot of great testimonials for those sort of things, and I don't have a specific one coming to mind right now, but those autoimmune diseases are so difficult to chase.
Yeah.
And most of the people, by the time they come to us, they've been they've been kicked around in the medical community for years with different things, and so. We've got a lot in support of Crohn's, in support of lupus, and many of those other ones. And what's also kind of fun is on our website, I believe that it's searchable. The reviews are even searchable.
Okay.
So you could click on some of the reviews and be able to actually search through them.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Your website really is. Everybody watching this should go to the wavewatch.com website
and
just kick around.
WAV, doesn't have an E in it, wavwatch.com/flyover.
Yes. So, wow. I mean,
Colton,
they're on point. So, yeah.
So, yeah, they could just go there, they search, and then they just type in whatever they're looking for, and then the testimonials will come up. I love that. There's autoimmune right there.
What's not to love?
Oh, that is so cool. You guys do such a great job.
That's really all my brother. I'm just the relationship guy.
Truly, you guys are remarkable. You're a great team.
Thank you.
And product development, the product keeps developing.
Yeah.
Yes. It's amazing to see. So Linda probably didn't share this with you all, but when I was a middle schooler and my brother, we're just 1 year apart.
Okay.
She was our teacher.
Really?
In middle school.
Okay.
And so she had, I'm not saying anything, this is not about me, this is about Linda. Let's just say that she had the gifted and talented, she had a special class. So 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, she taught that. And she taught it in just a really fun way, like in a very creative way.
You could tell when she's on our show, she would have been an amazing teacher.
When she tells a story, it's like you were there.
Yeah.
She's just very,
She's
very
excellent.
engaging. And then when you have this inventor brain and she's also a drummer, it's like she just catches you.
And so the real irony that I'm finally beginning to see is I remember doing a unit on inventions.
Okay.
And her encouraging each one of us in different things. But also, I think she was pouring so much into all of her students during all that time that maybe she was kind of storing up some creativity and some ideas herself. And then she finally came and did that herself. But it was, to learn about creativity and learn about inventions and be encouraged in that, as she did for everyone, but then that to come full circle and for her to be an inventor now, it's an amazing, it's been an amazing journey to be a part of that with her.
Yeah, for sure.
Can we talk about emotions just real quickly? You mentioned that a moment ago, but we just listened to a story on Daily Wire this morning about it kind of has to do with some of the drugs that they're introducing. Joe Rogan was at the White House, and they're working on some things. And I didn't even know about that whole line of science, so to speak. And they're talking about just the struggle like veterans have specifically coming back. I think the number they're on SSRIs, after service was incredibly high. And it's not segmented to just that part of the population. I think our country, as a whole, is probably struggling with more emotional issues and depression. And sometimes it's seasonal. It might be, related to, events, in life. But what have you seen with this device's ability to help people navigate emotions and depression and everything in that whole spectrum?
Great question. Most of what we have seen is very anecdotal, but we've heard from some veterans just some really incredible stories, especially in regards to PTSD. And we, Linda is very passionate for veterans. I mean, I don't know that she's met a veteran, or just even in walking through Walmart, and she hasn't figured out how to get him a watch in certain ways. We were videoing a commercial. This whole crew descended on my house in Tennessee, and Linda came, and we had these commercials. And it turns out one of the guys was a veteran, and by golly, he went home with 2 watches because we were passionate about helping veterans. And we have seen some really, really incredible results in regards to PTSD, in regards to addiction, in regards to various other emotional things. And we do have that as a study that's ongoing right now, and we hope to be able to be closing those studies soon. But it's an incredible thing, and at some point we hope to continue working with veterans and more veterans to be able to develop a protocol that is helping.
I love that. So. What about strokes?
Different strokes for different folks. Yes.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, exactly.
So actually, I had pulled up a few different testimonials, and I wanted to read it from the person. And so let's see, there's one about a stroke. Okay. You mentioned it?
Yeah,
okay,
I love it.
So this is from our website. It said, my husband had a stroke in 2019. He's had other health issues, but this stroke did a number on him. Brain damage, affected his motor function, speech, all sorts of things, all sorts of issues. And she was trying to get rid of some mucus. And so she said, the first thing I put on the Wave Watch was mucus, and it worked. Tried it 5 days in a row. And then the first day that she didn't do it, he had problems with that again. And now he's able to speak some words. And then she goes on to say, let's see, there's a few other things that this watch is addressing. I could fill up a page. I ordered 2 more, one for me and one for our daughter. And I waited to write this review so it would be honest and true. She said, there is no way this man can fake it. So yes, this Wave Watch really works.
Oh, I love that.
So, and as this person is obviously a caretaker, and has been able to see some real things. But after this stroke basically it's been amazing to see how that helped him, and we would hope that it can help others too with the same sort of thing. Additionally, sometimes there are things that we think of, like a myth medically, or growing up with the food pyramid. Oh well, yeah, that's the food pyramid from the
exactly, and then we find out it's the upside down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we've always been led to believe that the nervous system is entirely electrical. Okay. Do you guys have any friends that are anesthesiologists or nurse anesthetists?
I don't.
No.
Well, even the people that study that, however many years, they don't actually know how it works.
Wow.
Okay. And that's affecting, like, they know what drugs to administer and how much, but they can't tell you how that works. But there was a study in 2007 by the Niels Bohr Institute in Denmark, and basically what they came up with was they basically were able to say that our nervous system, in addition to having some electrical impulses, that there's also sounds that pass through our nervous system, and so that's one of the reasons that we've seen such great results on the nervous system and that sort of thing with the Wave Watches, because it's not just electrical. There's also sound involved in these impulses that travel. And it's it's way beyond my scientific. I mean, I read through it like 3 times, and I was like, man, that's deep.
Right.
I get what you're saying, but it's an amazing thing that the human body is an amazing thing, and we're still science is still proving God and His creation.
Right.
But this is another way that's doing so. That it's different ways that our bodies are made in the way that it communicates.
We think God created the world.
I know.
With sound.
Absolutely. Spoken into existence.
Yeah, and He made light a few days before the sun, because He said, what He says, manifests into reality. So it makes sense that sand forms patterns based on sound. It doesn't form random patterns. It's like, it's like carpet patterns. It's unbelievable how accurate they respond and are obedient to sound.
Well, remember at that event that we were at in California, and they had the water that they had spoke negatively over, and ones that they had actually spoke, positive words over, and how they looked different.
They crystallized and completely different.
It was a Japanese guy that was taking photographs of that. He passed a few years ago, and his work is really, really incredible. And I can't say I haven't thought about trying to see about recreating some of that just for myself to kind of see how those different frequencies. But I'm going to have to figure out a very special microscope
to get
there.
Yeah. To get it, yeah.
And I think he might have flash frozen it or something, because I think they were more like crystals.
Like a crystal, yeah.
But it's really fascinating things. And I think seeing that work about the water crystals that had the beauty and symmetry, and how there was positivity spoken into them, and then the exact opposite with negative words.
Yep.
It makes me also realize that we've got to be guarded.
Our words are powerful.
And yes, James talks about it.
Yes.
And it's throughout the Bible about how our words are so powerful. And so it's just another inspiration to not only find some healing frequencies, but to find some healing words as well.
No doubt about it. I just wanted to, before we let you go, just share some of the testimonies from our audience, because they're really fun to hear. This one was from Randall, and he said, "My wife has taken it over." He said, "This is funny because I bought the Wave Watch for myself. My wife has taken it over. She loves it. She uses it for pain and circulation and says it works. I would love to get one for my mom and other family members. I have one on order for my wife so I can have mine back." That was so good.
I bet that happens a lot.
Yes.
We do hear that quite often.
People probably get it for a specific condition that one of them have, and then it's like, one story that we've got this from a few different listeners as well, but Linda shared as well, is there's people that had dogs with a lot of anxiety, and they would put it on set, not even put it on the dog. They would just wear it and hold the dog, and it would help them.
Yes. We are looking more and more into that because it's a really exciting thing. And, people love their animals, and we want the best for our pets.
Yeah.
And I've got a dog with heavy anxiety, and I've been putting it on him. One way to do it is, this is kind of interesting. I don't have the Velcro bands, but every Wave Watch comes with a Velcro band, and then you can get another Velcro band, and you just put 2 Velcro bands on, and then they can overlap, and you can put it on your dog.
That's smart. So do you actually put it around the neck? Do you put it around the foot? Okay, the neck. Okay, perfect.
And
there we go. Colin's got a picture of that up there.
Yep. Oh, look at that.
There
yes, that's my mom's dog. That's Rosie. She's got a Wave Watch on. And Rosie. There's another one that might be on our website, and one of our other employees, Courtney, she has, I think there was a Great Pyrenees, one of those giant white dogs, and it was very afraid of storms, and they put it on anxiety. So yes, we're
4th of July, and all those kind of things. I just noticed you took your band off. Like I replaced my band recently, and it's easy to get any kind of it's not some outlier, device. The standard stuff off Amazon works. I got mine longer because a lot of times I'll wear mine around my leg.
Yeah,
we're doing shows, so it's not near near the microphones. But
exactly.
And so you can get longer bands, and like I said, for the dogs.
I want to read another testimony here. This is from Valerie. "I used first wave frequency first, as Linda suggested, and right away within minutes noticed diminished pain and stiffness gone. Of course, I thought I was imagining it. But even the next day, I was moving without pain, without playing first wave. While playing first wave. Another day, I was aware of pain building in the arch of one of my feet. I played the pain frequency, and in 20 minutes felt the pain melt away, and it stayed away even after I got off my feet to test it. Thank you, Linda, for this very useful, attractive, and natural way to address pain, detox, defense, sleep, and much more. I love that I can make my own personalized favorites folder that I can play for healing, help day and night. So can you actually address how they actually make a favorites folder?
Oh, for sure, yes. So with the Wave Watch, there is a little heart. Let me pull this up here. I know there's probably not a top-down camera.
Not yet. That'll be our next thing.
So when you're playing something, let's say I spoke about Lyme disease or Lyme wave.
Yep.
And so
There's a heart.
I've got a little heart. Yep. And so I can just push that heart, and then you can select there are 6 things to select from.
Okay.
And so I'm just going to add it to number 1, and it went red right there. And so now that heart is red. Mm-hmm. And then you would actually just go all the way out to favorites, and you can click on favorites 1, and it would be there, and it goes in whatever order they're added.
Okay.
And then you can actually remove things by just holding it down. It says remove from favorites, yes. So just put it in the order you want, and then basically it'll play through. You start at the top one, and it'll play all the way through. And it's pretty. We try to be as simple and slick as possible. And then another thing that we've kind of loosely touched on is EMFs and how we're all trying to make sure that we're not exposing ourselves to too many of those things. And this watch is intentionally self-contained. There's not a Bluetooth, not a Wi-Fi connection, and it doesn't put off a strong number of EMFs. We've got photographs even on our website of one of those EMF detectors like right next to it, and it's playing, it's doing its thing. And and it's not moving the dial at all, because we are passionate about health, and sometimes simpler is better.
For sure. No doubt about it.
Almost always.
Yep.
Best mug in the whole world is a Yeti, and it has lid, slide, magnet, very simple, boom, it lasts forever.
Okay, so let's say that somebody's watching today and they're like, okay, I want a watch. What's the process? They go to wavewatch.com and /flyover, and it's WAV, no E, WAVwatch.com/flyover. And what are they looking for when they get there?
Yeah, so we have 2 different colors. You've got the rose gold, and I've got the graphite.
Yep.
And these are the two things for sale. Once they have that code, and if they're not seeing a discount, they can also type the word flyover in at the cart. If for some, but yeah, doing that site, just like you said, is the way to do it. And they'll get $104.55 off of a full price.
That is a really good deal. Thank you guys so much for doing that.
You're welcome. And then every once in a while we'll have some refurbs that are a little bit cheaper, and they'll get a 15% off that with your same code.
Okay.
And then once they click through things, and then also we've got what's called Shop Pay, which is a great way for people if that full amount isn't something that's accessible, then Shop Pay is a way to pay in some installments. We're just trying to be, Linda wants, she's like, as many frequencies as we can get, and it's most affordable that we can get to get more people to have the access to the, oh, there she is.
Yep.
To have access to these frequencies. And that's what she's passionate about.
I love that. Anything else they need to be aware of on the website? So we have how they can find Frequency Finder. Anything else that would be really helpful for somebody when they buy the watch or something they need to be aware of?
Not necessarily, although there's a really fun page about the science, and there's many of the articles that I mentioned are referenced there. And so if you want to do a deep dive on it, then please do. So,
we love it. One of my become a great friend is Dr. Brian Artis. Love him on the show. We interviewed him live, a lot. We talk, we text him, a lot. He loves it. His wife loves it. Like everyone that is kind of a credibility source for me is a big fan.
Yeah.
And to see those kind of, because, I don't understand how most things work. I got this microphone here. I could not tell you how this is going into somebody's watching this, on Spotify, a week from now. I have no idea how those things work, but I know it does. Right. And I'm very thankful, for this technology. So anything you can have with a high upside and no downside. There's not another medication you got to start taking to counteract your Wave Watch. It's like, it's just good.
Yeah.
Well, that's well said, and I have such great respect for Dr. Artis. He's been a great friend to our company, and he's been an inspiration. So
no doubt about it. John, thank you so much for stopping by the studio. Thank you for everything that you're doing to help so many people. We really appreciate it.
Honored to be here. Thank you so much, and honored. I don't mean to prolong this too much, but I I used to work in Grandpa's fields, and I like that there's a circle in your logo, because when you're fixing the sprinkler in that cornfield, that sprinkler that makes it round, I know what I'm flying over when I fly over it, and that's the heart of our country. And so thank you for representing the heartland.
I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the inventor of the Wave Watch, the world's first frequency therapy watch. It features over 1,100 targeted frequencies. These sounds are acoustical and they move through your body. You don't necessarily have to hear it. So that's why we have so many testimonies for ADD and ADHD, emotions, headaches, joints, and so many more.
Everyone is talking about this.
The one thing that's very important part of my portfolio all these years is gold.
As gold hit all-time highs already this year.
You can get a free info kit on gold today.
It's called silver.
Gold coin.
And though we are thrilled that everyone is talking about investing in precious metals, a lot of these 1-800 numbers will make you feel like just another transaction. That's why it's crucial to work with a person, not a faceless institution, when it comes to your finances. You deserve to be treated like family, not just another number. Dr. Kirk Elliott, who we've known for over 25 years, he doesn't just sell gold and silver. He offers trust, care, and a personal touch that an impersonal institution could never match. So when it comes to securing your financial future, don't just call a company, call a person. Call Dr. Kirk Elliott at 720-605-3900 or visit flyovergold.com to learn more.
Do your feet ache and throb in pain with every step you take every day of your life? Kiss those days goodbye with slippers from MyPillow.com. How about that flimsy, flat little excuse for a pillow that's nothing but 8 hours of disappointment, causing you pain in your neck every single night? You can wake up with nothing but butterflies and rainbows around your head with a MyPillow pillow. Those hardwood floors hurting your old bones? No more with a MyPillow dog bed. Are your towels worn thin, flimsy, more patchy than Joe Biden's memory? There's nothing better than absorbent towels from MyPillow.com. For all of these products and more, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code FLYOVER for up to 66% off.
If you had a time machine and you could go back to, say, 1930 and you had 1 ounce of gold or a $20 bill, both of those would buy you a complete men's suit, brand new, the shirt, the tie, the belt. Either one would buy you the whole thing. If you had a time machine and then you brought both of those resources into today, 1 ounce of gold could still buy you a full suit at pretty much any men's store in America. The $20 bill, why, it probably only gets you a handkerchief or a pair of socks.
How do you get the gold and silver? Well, it's very simple. We have a friend that we've known for over 25 years. In fact, his dad was a mentor of ours, and his name is Dr. Kirk Elliott. And the way that you connect with him is you go to flyovergold.com. It's a website that we set up to make it very simple. All you do is go there, fill out your information, and someone from Dr. Kirk's team will get a hold of you to answer all of your questions. Whatever you have, they can help you out. Or you can simply call 720-605-3900. Again, 720-605-3900 to set up that free consultation. Do it today. You will be so glad that you did. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Flyover Conservatives podcast with David and Stacy Whited. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave us a comment below. Lastly, if you enjoyed today's podcast, share with those who came to mind. Be blessed and make it a great day.